I don't know what.
I think people should pray for Peter Thiel. I really do. I'm going to. I posted this. This interview. This was the last interview with Peter Thiel. He's a mess. You know, I don't know. I would say he's withdrawing, like from alcohol. That's what it would look like to me. But because he's stuttering so much and he really can't answer this. This was his last interview. It's like he looks terrified. I don't. It hurts my heart to see anybody suffering like this. Even though Peter Thiel, man, he's. The thing is that Palantir took a nosedive yesterday. I'd done a quick video, like, to music with it, because all Trump had to do was say that he was gonna not fund so much to the Pentagon, and so it. Yet he hasn't made any statement about it. And a lot of media is going to tell you, oh, he's involved in Trump's admin. No, he's not. He's not. He said it. There's a tech bro. It's called the All In podcast, and I the last time he was on there was, like, I want to say November, and he said he wasn't going to have any direct at the White House. I mean, he does through all these other people. I think that's how it's been for a long time. Like you'll see, like I showed yesterday, all the pictures with Obama, is Zuckerberg, Musk, Bezos, Bill Gates, all these regular. Peter Thiel is one of those outside players, but it just makes me wonder, because he looks scared in this interview and he hasn't done any since this one. And this isn't the normal. I mean, Peter Thiel gives talks all the time. So, gotta wonder. But how Peter Thiel's Palantir helped the NSA, which is the National Security Agency, spy on the whole world. Documents provided by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden reveal Palantir's role in creating the U.S. government's international spy machine. But there's more with him. Tech billionaire Peter Thiel was an FBI informant. But I don't know that he was on the right side of being an informant for the right reasons. I'm not sure. Because as you can see here, this was 2016. Then President-elect Donald Trump shakes hands. He doesn't look like he's shaking hands with Peter Thiel. To me, and I mean, shaking hands would be like that. No, it almost looks like he's praying for him in a way. I'm not saying that's what it's just he does not look like he's shaking hands. The president-elect Donald Trump shakes hands with Peter Thiel during a meeting at Trump Tower in December 2016. Years later, Thiel would become a confidential human source for the FBI. He was directed not to report on his interactions with Trump or other U.S. political figures, an associate said. See, that's not. He's had ties to the CIA, all of it, and yet his last interview is what I stitched. So, I want people held accountable, but if they haven't hurt children, although taking everybody into a slave system, but I wouldn't want everybody in jail, I put it this way, I would much rather them, if they haven't hurt children. I mean, I still would pray for, we should still pray for people, even if they've hurt children, obviously, but for the tech stuff, I mean, it would be better if they find God. And I tend to think that Trump would rather that for some of those people. I'm just guessing. I don't know. Because if he was helping the FBI to try to, set Trump up and do all this, well. But I still think, even then, I think that Trump would be the type, and I'm only guessing because I don't know him, that he would rather see these people that if they haven't hurt children, that if there's a chance they can find God, that they do. And then, just they can't have any more ties to this. And I can have sympathy in my heart for Peter Thiel because I don't like seeing anybody like this. It makes me want to cry for him, because he's clearly scared, and he normally is he gives speeches normally. And so I'm gonna pray for him. I think everybody should, because if they haven't hurt children, it would be a better world if they did find God rather than, not. But then I found this. So this was 2023, and what's interesting about this, I've heard, I think it was in November, I want to say, I actually heard Peter Thiel actually talk about faith on the All In podcast, which is that Tech Bro podcast. And it was very, I believed him. I did. It says here for this article, because this led to this whole thing called Acts 17 Collective. Everything clicked when Peter Thiel gave the speech about God. The occasion was a 40th birthday party for Trey Stevens, who is Mr. Thiel's venture capital partner, as well as the founder of Anduril Industries, a maker of high-tech defense systems and weaponry. It was a multi-day affair held in 2023 at Mr. Stevens' home in New Mexico. It began with an evening roasting the birthday boy, followed by another toasting him, and then a brunch with caviar bumps, mimosas, and breakfast pizza. At the brunch, the theme was the Holy Ghost. Mr. Thiel, the Silicon Valley billionaire and right-wing kingmaker, delivered a talk about miracles, forgiveness, and Jesus Christ. The guests were enthralled. There was over 220 people there, which then gave Mrs. Stevens, the wife of Mr. Stevens, an idea to gather influential people, including in Silicon Valley, to talk about Christian belief. Last year, she started a nonprofit called Acts 17 Collective, which holds events where the bigwigs of the tech and entertainment industries discuss their faith. For those seeking not just spiritually, but also professionally, it's a chance to get close to industry demigods. What way to put it. Mr. Thiel was the featured speaker at the first Acts 17 event last May at the San Francisco home of Gary Tan, the chief executive of the Y Combinator. He talked about how Christian theology informs his politics and which Ten Commandment is his most meaningful. But it went on further here. Then in October, the nonprofit hosted another talk at Mr. Tan's home, this time with Dr. Francis S. Collins, the former director of the NIH, who has long talked about how he reconciles science with his Christian faith. Ms. Stevens is planning more events in San Francisco as well as one in Los Angeles. And then, just so people realize, the name Acts 17 is an acronym acknowledging Christ in technology and society, but it also offers the biblical chapter in which Paul the Apostle crosses Athens to spread the gospel among Greek kings and queens of the culture. And then she goes on to say, we were always taught as Christians to serve the meek, the lowly, and marginalized. I think we've realized that if anything, the rich, the wealthy, the powerful need Jesus just as much. True. And actually, Elon Musk said something insightful and it wasn't, pompous and arrogant. This was several months ago. He had said, he posted, he said, quote, atheism left an empty space, secular religion took its place. He wrote, so he posted it. He said, maybe religion's not so bad to keep you from being sad. So something not arrogant that actually Elon Musk said. But I think people should pray for tech. I'm not saying they shouldn't be held accountable, but we should always hope that they find their way to God, because that's truly, what will change a heart. Pray for tech.